My name's Kat George, and I'm very excited to host this year's wonderful annual reading Everything Aloud. It's a fun reading that is done by people who are in our daily write poetry group. Now you can see some of them here: Peter, Dan, Liberthson, and Matthew, Nicca, Richard, Will, and we have a couple of people just watching and hanging on. We will also have Jane LeCroy. She'll be here shortly. But what I know is that wrong person. Okay. What I know is this is a group. What we do is we write every single day and send it to each other. Not to the whole group, just to one other person. You get them for the week. We have prompts that we work on. So you hear some poems that are on the same similar theme, and that's always interesting because they're never at all the same poem. And then we also, so you'll send your poem. What we do is we send your poem to one person who's your partner for the week, and they send you a poem. And then the next day you write, acknowledge that you received it, tell people what strong lines you'd like for the poem, talk little bit about the poem, but it's not a workshop. It's just a way to get out there and work to write every day. And of course, after you hear these poems, if anybody's interested in joining our group, please write to me and we can talk. So we're going to go ahead and get started with no further ado. We're going to be going in alphabetical order tonight. And remember, each person writes every day. So that is theoretically 305 poems
Your
that,
uncle read a poem
that we get to read from.
live.
And what's great about that is that you're not going to hear all 365. You're only going to hear the best of the best. Okay, so to start us off, we're going to have Peter Carlaftes go ahead and read and kick us off. Peter.
Hello.
Hello. It's so nice to see you. Go ahead and take it away.
It's
Peter.
nice to see you too. If I hold up and you see the doorway in the back, she's inside that doorway. So we're just a little separated by a room today, but you can picture us in the same place if you'd like. It's up to you. So we do write every day with everyone that you'll hear tonight and a few others who aren't with us. So I hope you enjoy the reading. We enjoy writing every day, and we enjoy all of our co-poet horts. So I'm going to just start. Got a few pieces to read. The title doesn't count. Some moons passed once. This cowboy type colleague invited me to see Journey in concert. So I went along. General admission, no seats on the floor. The place was mobbed, first come, first served. And there we were, me and him, at the very back. This position didn't sit well with my colleague, so he literally plowed through 40 rows of closely knit people, breaking couples apart, banging folks to the side, one row at a time. And these people were pissed, yet I kept up through the clearing created behind him, shrugging at those who were screaming a fit until we both got there in front of the band. And as I gaped back at the tangled mess of fallen, my colleague slowly began tapping his right foot with a shit-eating grin. And I think about all the years my country forced its way of thinking down the souls of others. And I followed, maybe griping, but followed just the same, right up till now, repeating human fate on the heels of neither side. Me and Julie Lumpkin. We had no need for love yet, being all of 7 years old, but we had a plan to get away, which involved my stealing a hidden stack of savings bonds I unearthed one day by accident. The plan was for us to get to a bank, cash the bonds, then get a train to whereabouts any place but there. I would walk outside at dusk and call up to her window. Then she'd come down and we would list the many cities we would go. though sadly, one dusk, she was gone. Her family moved without a word, and I felt heartsick, not from love, but from loss of a companion who wanted out as much as me. An actual chance in hell. As bad as things were on the way to divorce, working this shit job as a doorman at Slim's, while behind the bar early one evening, I stood face to face with Harry Dean Stanton, who was playing that night, and I immediately went into my impression of him from Paris, Texas. And when he woke up, he was on fire, and he ran into the kitchen toward the only two people he loved, but they were gone. And he didn't move an inch, then said, well, Sam's a great writer. And I told him, look, I have this contiguous script of 3 Flannery O'Connor stories, and that even though he had done Wise Blood already, he would be great in The Life You Save May Be Your Own. And we talked some more, but then he broke down admitting, I'm tired of all this negativity, man. And so the boss, Tony, yelled, let's put out these chairs, and I ran off to fulfill my duty, though I wanted to toss in the towel and talk some more with Harry Dean. A few weeks later, I came in to get my check through much tumult inside my home, and I kept leafing through the great big stack, and none of the envelopes displayed my name. So finally, Tony the boss, who never liked my act, walked by and pointed at the wall, where, lo and behold, my check was thumbtacked all by its lonesome. So I guess I was canned for the face that I had, but maybe also for getting drunk and letting in a few folks through the back door the week before. Then, 5, 6 years later, maybe 4 after the marriage, I ran a small theater about 3 blocks from Slim's, and I heard someone outside in some form of anguish. So I went out to look, and there was this guy squatting down against our wall. So I asked him, what's wrong, pal? And he said, my dear friend Tony died. And I asked, Tony from Slim's? He sobbed, yes. I worked with him there. He was the best damn guy, and also the guy who didn't like 1 second of my act. But I bid the grieving fellow to come in and smoke a joint, which we did. And I told him that Tony didn't like me, but did not deserve to die. He was maybe 35. And I consoled my new friend, who I never saw again, and started thinking, damn, I should have kept it, Harry D. Dancing machines. This gritty looking Arab guy came walking up to me on 5th Avenue near 46th, asking for hand sanitizer. I shook my head no, dodging his dingy frame. So he approached this kind of bummy black dude and held his hands out, begging for the same. The black dude stepped back and pulled out a small container, squirting the goo into the Arab guy's hands, who rubbed and rubbed the stuff throughout while doing a dance. Then the black dude started dancing, cleansing for the soul as the tourists strode by, oblivious to the beauty of these two souls crossing path within this moment born of time. At the edge of the pool, I leaned over the side to stare at my reflection and found myself transitioned to some kind of green-skinned leprechaun. Me, a Greek Italian from the Bronx, me, green, with the weird, funny hat. So I slapped at the water, and my own face appeared through diminishing ripples, though this time sporting a 70s porn stash. Why me? Okay, a product of the 70s, though I never had a mustache. Ever. Why? Me. All this chintzy Marriott outdoor pool. Who knows? Maybe this reflective thing is some kind of new perk I get with my credit card. And sure enough, when I check, the reflective thing is an added plus. So I guess I keep paying the $99 per annual fee for the card, slapping the water with glee awaiting. Isn't life grand? I think I'll do this one and be done. Have I got time, Kay, or a short one, or how am I doing?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to do this one and be done. I'll drink to that. I got a job once bartending in the men's card room at a golf and yacht club where the members played gin for $5 grand a hand. So I kept my eyes peeled and poured their drinks strong while waiting for the knock of a opportunities to come. This was Virginia Beach, 1983. Weekdays were best with the bar to ourselves, but on weekends the members played golf with their friends, and all of them always ordered lunch afterwards. So I had to barrel 50 yards across the club for every tray, then back to serve them food. Most Saturdays were exhausting, though there was one I was on my 15th food run, focusing on quitting time, being only an hour away, when the assistant manager informed me that I had to work a double. Bartending a private party for none other than Secretary of State George Shultz, whom I had dubbed the Beast of Bechtel. So I decided right then to piss in his drink, no matter how mindless it seemed, and told as much to my colleague setting up the main bar, who must have quickly sold me out, because the next time I crossed with a tray full of food, the manager superseded his assistant to let me know I was no longer had to work a double. And behind them, I could see through the door into their office, two guys in dark suits looking through a file from the cabinet, probably mine, and more than likely Secret Service. But I didn't get fired, at least not for that. They fired me for nothing a few months later, which really ticked me off to no end. I should have been fired without question for threatening to piss in George Schultz's drink. So the next job I applied for that I knew I wouldn't get, I wrote on the application, after reason for leaving, last place of employment, threatening to piss in George Schultz's drink. And this always still brings me a laugh to this day, but I wonder how much satisfaction I would feel if I had only kept my mouth shut. All right?
All right, Peter. Yeah. Way to go. George Schultz.
The Beast of Bechtel, he just died this year. Talk
Oh my
about the
God.
good die young.
Well, you can't do nothing about him now.
Nope.
So, all right. Thank you so much. And just so you know, if you just tuned in, this is a poetry reading featuring the members of the Daily Write Poetry Group. We write a poem every day. And if you want to find out more about it, talk to me or DM me after the show. Our next reader, we have 8 readers tonight. Our next reader is me. Hey, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and get going now. The veil of unknowing. If I've learned one thing in my life, it is that I know nothing. Now, how would I know that? To understand all, the whole of everything, commonality, universal principles, guiding ideals, the root of all evil, the path to all good, the end of all war, the cure to poverty, the disappearance of greed, and so on and so forth, etc., etc. Call me up some lonely winter night when you're feeling like nothing makes sense and existence is a joke you no longer find funny. Let's talk. We'll share a story or two, cry a little, laugh a bit, tell each other we are beautiful, make a moment together. That is all we have and all we can ever understand. Deep Purple Dream. Give up control on the sidewalk, in the market, at the dinner table, on the dance floor, in the kisses, in the dream, the deep purple dream. Get out of the way, let it happen. Get out of the way, let love happen, let music happen, let peace happen as the bombs fall, as the air warms, as the sorrow rises, the tears in the dream, the deep purple dream. Get out of the way, let it happen. It's not about control, it's about direction, memory. Follow the guide, give up control, leave the weapons locked up, move the needle, get out of the way, let it happen. This is not what was intended. This is not what was planned. This is not what I wanted, what I thought I wanted. This is not my choice. Get out of the way, let it happen. Make the call, then get out of the way. Pay the bill, then get out of the way. Start the poem, then get out of the way. The poem is in the air. The music drifts above you. Success is not drive, but driven. The urgent, the passions, the wind, even the wind. What will happen when you get out of the way? You. How to freeze time. Eliminate all points of comparisons. Eliminate the means of measurement. Eliminate the sun and moon and stars. Eliminate money and sex and love. Eliminate any thought of the past. Eliminate longing for the future. Eliminate food. Live only on chemical nourishment. Eliminate language. Stare at walls in a room so dark you cannot see the walls. And sit and breathe and open your mind to the purity of nothingness and stay alive and repeat forever. Or love your swift rush through each day and mark the moments as they pass. Count each wrinkle as a well-earned trophy, each speckled gray hair a priceless silver thread weaving your singular, stunning, fluttering beauty, your extraordinary, impermanent perfection. Okay, lonely teen. Your threaded hair, your airway eyes, curled up in the corner seat on the subway, drilled into the screen where you live. What do you see between West 4th Street and Rockler Center? Your fingers are angry, loaded like weighted canes on the street. Your mouth zipped in a tight pipeline. You speak through your hands, and is it enough? Your friends, where are they? Do they live in glass too? Have you been to their houses and talked for hours about dreams? What keeps you connected? Who do you trust? Danger doesn't always carry a weapon. Assault doesn't always leave a visible scar. I would tell you about love, but you know so much more than me. Love, how it hangs in the air like an AI generated photograph. Love, so real, you're certain it is anything but. We wind up. The punch in my face was so unexpected. I thought I had walked into a street lamp, except there was not any street lamp around, just a grinning little man who danced off between cars on 7th Avenue when I started to scream, realizing what he had just done to me. I never felt more like a certain kind of woman, the kind who assumes she walked into a street lamp that wasn't there, the kind who blames herself for every assault, every bruise, every missed train, every storm, burnt meals, harsh words, ripped seams, holes. It starts with holes, the feeling of empty lack of completion. And whose fault is that? It starts with bloody panties, skipping meals to buy the napkins, the tampons to plug it all up, and yet still this crimson mess. And whose fault is that? It starts with the first rape, the 5th, the 8th, the kind you can't really call rape because you didn't say no hard enough, or you shouldn't have had that much to drink, or worn that dress, those heels. It starts, and next day you stare in the mirror, head throbbing, asking whose fault is that? It starts with mothers who assure you that there is only one person to blame, with doctors who assure you the pain is in your head as you lay on the table shaking blue-gray. You wouldn't be here at all if you had only. With employers who shake down female minions, obscure paychecks for male cronies, rewrite the job description until your life disappears. It starts, and then you learn for a while that at least you are responsible for something in this world of surging chaos. Yes, it is my fault. Yes, I am to blame. And success, when it comes fleeting and intangible, lifts you for mere moments, a breath, nothing more. But really, what is there? The interplay of change and stillness. Walk down Saturday night city streets looking for action. Gotta have action between tourists and young adults glued to their phone. There's the cathedral. There's the park with the fountain. There's the dark alley with scary loiterers. There's small shop, small shop, small shop. Everyone's in the holiday mood. Aren't you in the holiday mood? Christmas trees block the sidewalk. Buy one quick before they're all gone. Action, gotta have action. It's a capitalist scene, man. A line for the Canada Goose store, a line for the Chanel store. Everyone wants to buy something. What a beautiful night in an American city. The folks down south don't know what they're missing. Up here, it's action, action, gotta have action. Everything for sale is on sale. It's all marked down. You can save money when you spend money buying clothing and perfume and food and coffee and many exquisite craft cocktails, all with extraordinary garnish, lemon peel, thyme, a triangle of white chocolate. Come loaded, leave broke. That's the motto. That's the spirit. Get into it now, before the season ends, before your life ends, before the world ends. There's only so much more you can buy before the everlasting silence begins. And I have a couple more. Half a life ago, there was no you and no me. Fellow sparrow, glance to passion, thought to creation. In our half-life, we surge, defy gravity, shallow the deep. Half a life ago, we did not know love that ages, complexly, bitter enhanced. We are fortuned with a long half-life, a go-go, mirrored ball, mesmeric, lit dance floor, tango for two. Half a life ago, worlds fell into place, planets aligned. The first kiss bloomed into this. And one more, since I'm already thinking about summer vacation, which is a long ways away, but anyway, this is called Gone. Ready to hit the road, all packed up and in the car before dawn, full tank, windows down, mirrors all adjusted, twist out of the neighborhood, floor to the freeway, head for that friend's cabin out in the secret camping spot in the forest, the sand dunes south of Rosarita, the land of the midnight sun, the beach, anywhere it isn't crowded. Hot coffee in the thermos, snacks on the side, no one to call, no appointments, no cares. Turn on the radio. I love this song. Sing along as loud as you want. It's summertime and school is out and work is out and you are out and you have never been this gone. And I'm gone now. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. So next up, please welcome to our stage here, our poetry reading stage, Matthew Hupert. Hi, Matthew.
Hey, how are you all doing?
Good. How long have you been a member of this writing group?
Oh, I don't know. Certainly more than a year and a half. I don't know.
Year and a half. Good for
Time,
you.
what,
All right.
time. What the fuck
Take
do
it
I know?
away. All right.
All right. If poetry doesn't fuel the revolution, what good is it? A poet's job is to organize sounds so what they say plays like music. We sing love songs and elegies when what we need is a new Marseillaise. The world is turned to Buchenwald, and there's no one to bolt cutter the fences but poets. That's how fucked the situation is. If poets could organize people the way we organize sounds, the brown shirts, the gray faces would go the way of pterodactyls, sundials, phone books, and smallpox. Due to the impending end of the world, all tomorrow's parties have been canceled. Tonight, do what you like. Crack a bottle, kiss a friend, roll another. Skinny dip, paint your nails, shout your truth from any roof you choose. Please don't forget to turn off the light when you go. Okay. And I got a weird collection here today. This used to be I could find myself anywhere. From holding in a cell, gray steel and stucco, to waiting in a walnut leather office, sized like my old studio. For $1 million Hancock from a man who thought time was money, but valued only his own. Or isolated over the curve by distance and language, and I never felt alone. You in my ear, enclosing my ribs. Now I can sit on a rush hour subway or a pub populated by poets spinning bon mots and sonnets, laughter and bravado on ale-flowered breath, and a world of 8 billion all calling their names so they know they exist, and all I hear is the steady beat of my pulse and empty wall echoes. And this one is called Bereft is a Funny Word. We defined so much on absence and wonder why the world feels sad. Atheist, spinster, orphan, widow, childless, divorcee, as if we were bricked by what we lack, shaped by negative space. Lost does not need to precede found. Thank you. And this one is called Standing By is Not an Option. There is no action nor indecision. While minds land gamble through star-fertile fields, the universe roars by the side view mirror at 500,000 miles an hour. Do you seem still? Put your hand outside your window. Feel it buffet and buck in the coming rush. This is a very new one here. It's called A Memory I'd Forgotten, a Defining Juncture, a Watershed Moment in Woodstock, New York. In the summer of '68, already feeling small and unseen at 7, discovering books and hungry for freedom from fears and shames, and barely beginning to understand now, more than a half century later, I'd lie by the pool, book in hand, envious of the big kids, meaning my older brother, and blur of others splash screaming the summer away in the forbidden deep water. I knew what I needed to do, to pass the deep water test and swim free, but no one would let me. Until that day with a smattering of gray had scared the Weekdale families away, we played tag by the pool with kids long forgotten, when I accidentally fell in t-shirt and jeans, and I looked at the lifeguard. As long as I'm here at the far end of the pool, will you give me the test? He was probably 16 or 17, I'd guess now, impossibly adult to my then eyes. And he said, why not? I showed what I knew, to float and to tread and to glide nearly weightless, buoyed by victory and forbidden delight. In that moment, I knew the world, my oyster, a new stage begun. I had taken a step in becoming, never to be forbidden to take my freedom from fear. And this one is called, I got 3 more. This one is called Seesaw. Seesaw. I saw that Paisley sun burning over indigo sands. I saw endless lines of caravans. I saw harlequined acrobats tossing corks and juggling smiles. I saw the wizened eyes of elephants singing praises of swirling stars in a minor key. I saw 100 children dressed in black flying through the clouds gray-hued. I saw forgotten artists screaming in unnamed pigments across a Dutch canal. I saw a pirouette. I saw Martian mountains and salt-ringed moons orbiting overhead. I saw lute-playing tigers and fandangoed ladies in waiting dressed in daisies. I saw fools applauded and sages called crazy. I saw a first breath and a last. I saw a horizon that curved all the way back to me. I saw an empty space once love flooded. I saw hopes and fears and grief upon grief that never fades, but only piles Himalayan, a bling flash, spin strobe, heart pound, skin scream, apple dandy wail. And now I close my eyes. All right, 2 more. Well, this one is, I've been writing a lot of really, really short poems, as everyone in this group knows. I've been really exploring the short form, the 3-4 line poem. And I don't read them out very often, but something funny and mystical happens when you take a bunch of really short ones and put them on one page together because you're going to read them. They somehow metamorphosize, I don't know, into one poem. And somehow this synergy happens between these pieces that you did not write together just because they share the space. So I have a few here that are short poems that have now done something. I don't know. Nude versus naked. When you walked through the door, I understood the sexy of nude. Since you walked out again, I've been naked. Growing from heartsick to a honeysuckle life, pruning required. Stars roll the skies, but the only retrograde motion is you diminishing into distance. We are sky-skinned wind riders, everywhere is home. I find myself in a slow motion explosion, and I lit the fuse. A prayer, sing your name into my mouth. This bar mirror looked sad. Ass over tea kettle, head over heels. She steamed my ass like an envelope over a tea kettle. There were secrets she needed to know. A sigh as soft as her inner thigh. The dogwood blossom spirals downstream. The salmon heads up, and for a moment wears it like a hat. Thank you. All right, I got one more before I do it. This group has been great. The talent, the difference in styles, the fact that it keeps my ass writing, just fucking fabulous. All right, that's and I love you all. All right, last one. This is called The Paradox of Artichokes. Once upon a time, long ago and far away, across 7 mountains and across 7 seas, once and twice and all the times you've heard of and not, when the world was full of wonders, when people and animals were the same and spoke the same language. Back, when the world was very young. Once, when the world was young, when tigers smoked. Just tell it right and let the listener decide what's in the heart. Yes, that's it. Let's begin. Just tell it right and let the listener decide what's in the heart. When the world was young, when tigers smoked, the artichoke was like a peony. Fragrant and soft with an unprotected heart that extended to the root and never thrown away, offered to the world freely and fearless, like youth before they learn that love is dangerous. The artichoke thought her heart couldn't be stolen if given freely, that it wouldn't be harmed when she was generous, and none could be jealous if all had their fill. None will take when all is given. But the world was young, still peopled by children who had just discovered what it means to be me. And they went to her blossom, opened her bosom, and they took and took and took, even when they could not carry the weight of hearts in their arms, because when we are children, me means not you. She ran to sandy places, and they followed and took. She thickened her stem and compacted her heart, and still they took and took. Her heart grew spikes, and her petals, once pink, smelling of spring, became dun and dull and clothed in musk. And still they took, tearing her petals, choking her heart, feeding on each morsel. They tore with their teeth because they all wanted all the love for themselves. There is no paradox of artichokes. The paradox is of people who don't understand that sometimes the more you take, the less you have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Matthew. That was beautiful. Oh my God, so many amazing lines. And thank you for this poetry group being here at all. It started with I think there's just maybe 1 or 2 original members here. I am not even an original member. I came in late, a little bit later. It started during the pandemic, and I've been a part of the group now for 3 years. But it's exciting to see that we keep evolving, and it's a lot of fun. Here is our next reader. She is new to our group, relatively new, but not new to the hearts and minds of many people who've heard her read. Jane LeCroy. How are you, Jane? You're on mute.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I am so honored to be in this group, and it's also just so interesting, like having had the prompts and hearing all of your poems today and knowing which one they come from, how it's like a different type of listening I get to do. It's just a very interesting experience. Isn't it cool? It's like, oh God, it's just fantastic. So I feel so inspired by all of you. I've totally fallen in love with like all of you who've been my partners for a week. It's like I get this crush on you. It's insane. So thanks for that. Yeah, and I really like getting to write not just about the stupid broken heart I'm obsessed with that I've been like writing tons of bad poetry about. So it's like having the prompts really helps me stop writing about like my stupid broken heart. Oh my God. I really wish I were a different animal. But no, I was born a human. So poetic delirium. I'll start telling the poems now. Really, I just want to like chat with you all. Okay. It sucks when you can't bring your elephant and you're locked out of every place in town because your dreams are too big to fit through their narrow doors. And your heart's so big, it makes a bloody mess of the streets and they hate you for it, even though they begged you to come to every party on the holiday weekend because you are everyone's favorite dancer and make every ordinary streetlight into a Broadway stage and every person feel like a star and it's all sold out and the cheers don't stop. It's like France won the World Cup and you're in Paris with every elephant in the world and they just trample you for it. They trample you for having big dreams and a lot of love because strictly no elephants. And there they leave you out there on the sidewalk with nowhere to tuck away and close your eyes for rest. So you just take your corncob pipe and carpet bag and rags you call clothes. But on you, baby, you make them look like $1 million because you're that bloody, big, dream, beautiful elephant show that can wear rags and make it look like the regal fashion of the elite having tea at the Plaza Hotel. And all the elephants in the world are there, waiting outside for some dainty sandwiches. They're so hungry from selling their books all day, all those stories and poems. Damn, it's enough to make the world cry. So here we are with our used handkerchiefs and the alphabet and nowhere else to go. Take your time. I'll be right outside, hoping I get one bite of one with a butter and cucumber. And oh, I do hope they have Earl Grey. I know it's your favorite. And I do hope you get everything you want. And I do hope you want me. Thanks. A generous impulse. At the toll booth, my mother paid for the car behind hers. Once she saw an old man struggling in the mud roadside and helped him up and find his way home. Later, he took us all to see Fantasia at the movie theater. It changed my life. It was so beautiful. She picked up hitchhikers and let strangers capture her attention, honored their sad stories with empathy and grace. She befriended the dying and welcomed stray souls to share our food and home. At the store, she let us kids choose the stick horse with the broken rein and missing eye, because we knew no other kids would pick that horse, and we knew we would have a good time with that horse. That horse needed us kids. No other kids would do. Extension. Painting is all tricks to make you see something in the paper that isn't really there, but it is really there in the world. You are creating a lie to transmit a truth that people can't see easily, but you can show with tricks on paper, hence expanding the universe and developing empathy among humans. And our words are graphite, our colors, and paint is poetry, is all tricks to make you see the familiar in a new way that sets you free from the paper that lies to show you what and how is here, folding, unfolding. Shadows and mirrors. We cannot ask our children to understand us. We bear the burden of failing those we love most. Shadows and mirrors are each reflections. Light both makes a shimmering mirror of the surface shining full color, and also prints charcoal silhouettes stamped across the world. Silhouettes and reflections like paper dolls holding hands across time, repeating because of how the paper is folded and cut by the turning world and blood runs down that scissor, the material of days. We walk and dance, laying our shadows down, and we dress in the mirror, checking our teeth. We age. We are each made different from the same. Having a daughter is better than having a mother. All mothers know, and it is heartbreaking. Oh man. Never wake up from it. Death, the source of meaning and flower of time. I'm not drunk, but for my normal state of being drunk without drinking, Baudelaire trained me from beyond the grave through his poetry. I love you. I'm okay. Pretty weird these days, but I'm holding my shit together, grateful. Faking mastery in all the subjects with aplomb. I feel the world burning. I see the void and see it as the soul. Are you with me? Is it you I feel by my side, so I do not freeze in this cold embrace of infinity? I am not disappearing, rather I never existed. Yet I have these hands extended in the dark, risking injury, reaching for your hands. Is that you? I count on you as I count my fingers in the dark, and I look for yours among the numbers. Finite and infinite. We are paradox. I'm groping for you in the dark. Are you there? Do I feel you? I see your letters on my screen. That's you. Thank you for your alphabet. These are all love letters. No complaints. I miss you. I thought I had you once. I want you. I am you. We are together, falling apart, part of one another, another, and another, a part of one another, apart. And then do I have time for one more? Expect resistance. A soul is just a mixed up louse with no silent E. So like, think about that word for a minute. Like, it is. Soul is just a mixed up louse with no silent E. You have to expect resistance. It's how we get to know our edges. I'm home in bed after a handful of peanuts and 2 pieces of buttered toast, one with whiskey fig jam. You really know how to lay it on with the way you talk and play those songs. I'll take it. Love is my favorite drug. It makes everything possible. And like, I'm going to die too soon. It's a marvelous feeling to think I could die too soon. It's like wanting to live. Love is the only drug that can save your life. We can stay out late at night, and that's probably the best I can do for saving your life. Every hour counts. And sure, daytime is more practical and probably more longevity there, but late nights are my favorite dessert. I'm just a kid despite my years. Staying up late is the best, but I have a night gig in the PTA and band practice, so daytime works great, lover. I appreciate your sugary glaze. Looks like my cum all over your face. You can be my throne and I'll be your crown. No one has to know. They wouldn't even recognize it anyway. Our sandcastle will last a full 5 minutes before high tide comes to dissolve it with a careless kiss. Salty as my big poet tears. Or another kid might come knock it over because creation is destruction. I'll save your words like roses pressed in my first Holy Communion Bible. I'll make that mass-produced book into a real relic because of your chivalrous gifts wrapped in comedy. Our time is a trick, as are all the castles and hourglasses. Words are just parades of letters honoring our experiences in all their linear glory. I'll take them. I'll hold them in my mouth and I'll say them out loud and remember why I didn't jump off a high building all those times. I will pour over the sounds of them like an ear and heart. My mind will tape them to the inside of my eyelids like inspirational posters. Our dreams curling at the edges because they have been rolled up so long. And we can't attach them to that surface with just tape. You got to get naked and use your own heat to melt them on. Our mouths draw the curve of fate. So is there more time? Or I mean, I feel like I've been reading for
No, you're good. You're perfect. You're absolutely
good.
perfect. What a reading. Let's hear it now for Jane
Thanks,
LeCroy.
guys.
Yeah, it's
Thanks.
been a pleasure having you part of the group. So,
I
uh,
love it so much. I'm so
great.
honored.
Great. All right. Well, if in case you're just tuning in, this is called Everything Aloud, an evening of poetry, and it's featuring members of the Daily Write Poetry Group. We write a day, and you can find out more about it later. Um, we're about halfway through right now, and the next reader is, I believe, one of the original members of the group. And is that true? One of the original members of the group?
No, I wasn't one of the originals, but I've been
Oh,
part of it for at least 2 years, maybe 2.5 years,
yeah.
with
Okay.
occasional breaks.
Great. Well, take it away, Dan.
Okay. Mother tongue. The mystery is one of words and can only be told with words. Where did they come from, my words, that have shaped and brought me forth as much as my eyes to engage the world? It must have been from you they came, from your brain, even as milk came from your breast to my mouth, even as love from your whole being crossed emptiness to nurture mine. My earliest remembrance is of you, holding my hand as I held the pen, guiding words from my fingers to the expectant page, so their meaning became substance in the world, grew into lesser worlds for you to read, and return to their birthplace, your brain, a cycle of birth and rebirth realized. So it would be through all my years, even when I spoke and wrote for others, always in the background, you stood, admiring when I did it well, the warm, unbroken clasp returning, the circle reforming. Even now you're gone to live in a new home, its door, my heart, its roof, my mind, forming these very lines, another weave of words I've made for you, always for you. So this is one of a series of questing poems, looking for something divine. I'm not religious, but I guess I would like to be. The sign. I've prayed for a grand sign, but none has come. Whatever power might be, please send me one. The stellar jays catcalling at someone as the gray cat yawns and stretches in the sun. A breeze-blown branch is soft against my ear, whispering clues I wish I could hear above the chipmunk chittering at some sparrows. Sun rays stab my blinking eyes like arrows. The dust around my feet has formed a ring, unsettling wasps who raise their tails to sting. A swaying fern is fondling my left hand. I stroke its fronds as gently as I can. A pang in my third molar threatens worse, but for now it's mild, no need to curse. A neighbor girl runs shrieking in her yard, faux monster father chasing, breathing hard. A cherry tree has started dropping fruit. Around it, a mushroom stomped by someone's boot. As evening falls, the frogs begin to croak. Anticipating chill, some chimneys start to smoke. A doe and spotted fawns strut through the trees. They see me, pause halfway, and sniff the breeze, while a maple leaf loses hold and twirls down past a dog who, barking, paws the ground. Tenderly, my worn shoes hug my feet. Caressing air upon my face is sweet. Expanding with the joy of sight, I realize the signs not grand, but many and disguised. Cats are good creatures to interrogate when you're looking for the meaning of life. What do cats know? It's so obvious, you shouldn't have to ask. Cats know everything, but they're not telling. They're sports to make us dimwit humans guess. All those I've met or lived with, even gone, still stay with me. Phantom cats of memory. 3 live with us presently. 2 tuxedos whose coats are maps of odd white islands in black fur seas, geographies I survey like abstract paintings in search of meaning. There is none, they say with a keen gaze, and what does it matter? We're here, and that's all you need to know. Then there's Figaro, the scruffy stray who's made our deck his home. Gray with black arcs across his back, he knows us through and through, habits, fears, pleasures, though he, or maybe she, won't come inside and seldom suffers petting. Smart enough to catch food and shelter, Fig prefers a semi-hermetic life of enlightened meditation, unless nagging us for treats. Each tuxedo has her own character. Sleek Maisie's a climber. Look up to find her. While plump Minnie's sedate and likes to watch her mate's adventures on the sly. Between them, in cahoots with Figaro, they've got us sorted. All's arranged as any cat would want it. No need to fret or question. Just relax and let the servants handle it. The world's all that's needed. This, the best of all possible worlds. Sometimes when traveling, I like to imagine what people I see are actually thinking about, what their lives might have been, might be. Sinking. Rippling summer light on the dark sand, such delight when they strolled together, can't brighten her blackness now. Heart. He went across and not once looked back. She scours the left bank in stubborn hope by a miracle he'll emerge from strangers and walk back over the pont, smiling. Films she's seen, cinema verite, with desperate women who throw themselves into the river, play again in her mind. Crackling in the fevered dazzle of light, stoked by a raw longing, a flame her tears do not quench, but like petrol, feed. She rises from the bench, resolved. He made his choice, and now she will make her own. Bright, enticing darkness, and an end to despair, or the bright green sward of the Tuileries to rejoin the promenade of lives. And I'll close with another travel poem, Tapestries. Outside the Museum of the Bayeux Tapestry, a gnarled old man in a worn black beret sits on a bench, smokes a crooked Gauloise, mumbles fitfully, and lightly rocks himself as he peers at the gabbing throng of tourists. His face is impassive, as he sat there since 1066, when the Normans set off from the Channel coast to conquer England, and William, God at his side, took the land he believed was his by right. Smoke from the old man's crumpled cigarette twines and spreads, rises and vanishes. The tapestry shows the build-up to the battle, the horrific combat, and William's triumph as Harold lies dead with an arrow in his face. Nearly 900 years later, just a few miles away, the Allies hit the beach on D-Day, facing not arrows but a stream of shells and bullets to retake lands Hitler thought were his by right. Smoke, blood, screams, and tears from myriad battles came before, between, and after these, and will again. The Bayeux Tapestry was rescued and preserved, a precious heritage, but 1,000 lives lost and ruined for the sake of men's lust for land have been thrown away as if they meant nothing. The old man mumbles on his bench, expressionless, as smoke rises, weaves a tapestry, and wafts away. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Great to hear your poems. I have a great time too working with you when it's my week with you. And I'm so happy that we're able to do this reading, to get together and see each other. So have a great year, and we'll go ahead and remove you. And we have just 3 more readers tonight. Our next one is just also for you like that. It's none other than Richard Modiano. Hello, Richard. How are you doing? Everything good? All right. Here we go. Go take it away, Richard. Thank you.
Okay. Kalaniot. A child reaches for her mother. The odor of cordite fills the air, and smoke hides the sun, and dust settles on the bright red Kalaniot. Born with the child, growing with the flower, flowering with the child, I hear reasoning and screams. They have calculated the sorrow that a child can bear, so much dread without vomiting, so many tears without dying. There is a sound of footsteps walking through the rubble, black and blessed with horror. They are coming to uproot the flower. They are coming to vilify the child. With love and dread, when she tells me that moonlight over the water is like a fervent caress of lips, I believe her and want her kisses. If she tells me that the dew on the flowering jasmine eternally drenches her body, I believe her and long to quaff it. If she tells me that in the depths of the archaic ocean runs a current of timelessness, I believe her and want to be swept away. If she tells me that the dawn of her bed is that in the down of her bed lives a cat that never says no, I believe her and share her desire. And if she says the path that she treads is fraught with grief and sorrow, I am astonished and promise to go with her. We travel that course together with love and dread, resolved to endure scorn and futility. We struggle, change this world into a place where all live without fear, hunger, and hatred, where mercy and peace prevail. Beautiful while it lasted. So full of life just weeks ago, a chance meeting, the seed, and then the germination sprouts shooting up so fast, and the flower in bloom. I thought it would last forever, a perennial that would flourish over time, but days later, it wilted and died. Were the roots too shallow? Did I overwater it with too much love? Maybe a combination of the two. Beautiful while it lasted, gone, and I am bereft. The night is dropping like a slow curtain. Santa Ana gusts subsiding. Fallen leaves piled up at the bottom of the stairs. I've kept the phone close by all day long, alert to every beep. According to the calendar on the wall, autumn has passed by quickly. Winter must be on the way in. This love didn't even last the full season. So promising at the start. The day is almost over now. I'm still waiting. I can still see nothing now, taste nothing. Night blooming flowers. The moon shining in my future arcs across the sky, shedding pearly light, turning that woman's bronze skin alabaster, so cool to see, but so warm to the touch. Her hair falls to her waist, black as obsidian, gives off the odor of patchouli, and her nipples resemble its pale pink white flowers. Her eyes glimmer in the moonlight, and the red garter she wears on her thigh looks like a torque of bronze. She stands in a garden of belladonna, verbena, and jasmine with its night blooming flowers. This moon is a light at the end of a tunnel in the Stygian night, and I stare into her eyes that take me away to a terrible, terrible fate. That's it.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you so much. These are you chose some very moving pieces, and I really appreciate the work you do, and your commentary is always very much appreciated by all of us, I'm sure. Thank you. Okay. Oops. I gotta get the right thing here. Remove pen. There we go. Okay. We have just 2 more readers tonight. Oh my God. And what a beautiful reading this has been of the Daily Poetry Write group. If you're interested in finding out more details, please direct message me after the show. And next up, please welcome a former Californian like myself, Nicca Ray. Hello, Nicca.
Hello, everybody. I sure do love this group. So here we go. Okay. Black. Black. Miniskirt, nail polish, turtleneck mood. Black. Top hat, tuxedo, tails, star. Black. Diamond, male, out, memory. Black, feather, rose, stone, symbol, black, book, pen, sleeve, secrecy, black mood, black star, blackout, memory, black rose, black book, black stone, secrecy, black pen, stone feather, black symbol, mood, top hat, tails, pen, autograph, black star, character, mood, fingernails, feather, stone, symbol. How you learn to swim. I wanted to be a fish, a guppy or salmon. Although I didn't want to be eaten, I wanted to live in water. I didn't want to be a mermaid. I wanted to live in the deep sea. Mom told me I had to learn how to swim first. I went to the neighborhood pool, walked into a class, walked into the water. 30 kids swam past me, salmon swimming upstream, and me, the guppy, dog paddling way behind. It's okay, I told myself. A guppy lives in a fishbowl, never has to travel far, nor does she have to worry about being caught. Sound organized. The record spinning on turntable, old school listening. Voices chattering in the kitchen, a car turning into the driveway. The cat in the lap purring, verses, 90s soul on CD, motorcycles revving, ambulance sirens alarming, homeless man screaming, street cleaner sweeping, verses, high heels on tile, lighter flicking, wine glasses clinking, mischievous laughter, bed frame knocking. Verses, verses, verses. Sounds organized behind drawn curtains, on opposite sides of the wall, behind closed doors, the 10th floor apartments, on cul-de-sacs, versus cityscapes, versus mountain views, versus ocean sides, versus hillsides, versus valley boulevards. Sounds organize and multiply. Life breaks down. I was moving faster than the speed of sound, faster than the Ferrari down PCH, building this, discovering that, realization after realization, the stepping stool getting me to the top. I was standing at the top of Topanga Canyon, looking up at the stars, reaching for the magic in this world. I felt a star drop on my fingertip, so bright, for a moment, I was blinded. I was running in place, retracing my steps. There were messes in my wake, pieces of me left behind in piles in the sand. I'd been so high. I jumped over the moon, been so down I froze in midair. This burst of energy I so cherished left me stranded with no way home. I watched this life falling, all its possessions discarded, tumbling through time. Wild horses. I had a room on the top floor of a 2-story house. It was the largest room with floor to ceiling windows, a non-working fireplace, a walk-in closet, no lock on the door, a psychedelic painted ceiling, painted by hippies who'd lived there before, who dropped acid by the score, made for some bad juju with their Ouija board. In this room where I did dwell, I closed my eyes and ran with horses wild, across mountain ranges, ran with wild horses, under red and orange desert skies, ran as wild as a horse, as wild as can be. In this room without locked doors, bad juju dwelled under floorboards. In this room, the trap was set. I closed my eyes and ran with horses wild, across mountain ranges, ran with wild horses, ran as wild as a horse, as wild as can be, and set myself free. Delivered. This is for Carla Boslich. Deliver me to 2002, to our last conversation, the one where you decided you didn't want to be my friend anymore. I wasn't cool like you anymore. Dark moods didn't govern me anymore. Deliver me so I can retrace my steps, hold my tongue before saying too much. Deliver me back to you, to the friendship we built in 1982, bonding over French fries at the Hobby Nobby Diner on Pacific Street, when there was just me and you, 2 wayward girls finding direction. Deliver me to the you who remembers me. Guide me into the moment where you will respond to my request to rekindle our connection. Deliver me to the vanishing point, to the invisible line we stepped over and made our friendship irretrievable. My prayers for deliverance go unanswered. Your silence has delivered a blow. Once again, once again, I tell myself this will be the final prayer, asking you to come back, meet me in the middle at the threshold of a beginning where past missteps no longer take precedence and the unity we found eating fries in the Hobby Nobby is restored. Deliver me, please. Deliver me back into your good graces. The silence is wrenching. Nude versus naked. Nude is Botticelli's Venus. Naked is my mother running through the Topanga Canyon fields. Not a care in the world, her bohemian dancer spirit forever, her appeal. Nude, I can stare at. Naked, I turn from. Botticelli's Venus equals beauty. My mother is beautiful too. I wish I could look at her the way I watch her peers do. She is my mother, not a painting by a master. I wish I could admire her free-spiritedness, the way I stand in awe of Venus. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Nicca. So glad you've been with the group almost a year.
About
Well,
a
more
year.
than a year. Yeah. All right. Well, wonderful work. Thank you so much. Okay. And now, whoopsie. Come on. There we go. Okay. Now we have our final reader of the evening, and that would be none other than Will Walker. Hello, Will.
There we go. I'm here.
Good. Good to see you. All right.
So
Take it
I'm
away,
just,
Will.
yeah, I'm just a sub, so I don't have 300 poems to choose from, but here we go. Oops. Mansplainer. The universe is very large, so large you need multiple degrees just to claim with some validity that it is so large you can't even think at the speed with which it is growing larger, like an unending explosion, really, in a gigantic vacuum so dark you'd have to blindfold yourself and shut yourself up in a closet to see anything like that much dark. Against this darkness of the exploding universe, it's important to supply, like a tiny exploding supernova, as much brilliance as you can into every act from small to grand, as if you were the center of the universe, which you are, though minuscule in God's eyes, which, however they may do it, see everything. So that's the truth. You are the very center of the universe and still very, very small. How small? You'd need other higher degrees just to explain it. I write a lot about clothes. This one's called traditional fit. Boxy through the body, loose under the armholes, a blue plaid shirt not out of place on a homesteader or grocery clerk, goes well with front porches and smoking pipes and the background sounds of a barnyard. Too jazzy perhaps for the Amish, but I could certainly wear this to a barn raising or the town square dance and talk about last night's rain and current hog prices, which is as close as I'll ever get to sodbuster or the subject of farm management. But I'll settle for traditional fit, friendly porch-sitting elder, happy to take a seat in some afternoon shade and watch the slow-paced pageant of my version of the world state its business and move on. Okay, another favorite topic, aging. This one's called Aging, the Early Years. Such fun falling down, and each time easier getting up. Outgrowing your clothes makes everyone so proud. Losing teeth is another lark, and getting visits from the tooth fairy ain't bad either. Running faster and faster, diving deeper and deeper, gasping for air while the blood pumps hard, never doubting you can push just a little bit more while growing strong and tall, knowing the best is yet to come, riding time like a tidal wave and in the swim. Here's another one about clothes. This one's called Relaxed Fit. This shirt will never run for a bus or spend late nights at the office. It will formulate no sales campaigns, assemble no voter coalitions. It might spend too much time at a dog park, savoring the light in the high branches of a 60-foot eucalyptus, catching the warm rays of mid-morning. It might marvel at the way the tree has rooted and thrived, though an intrusive and combustible non-native. And it might stoop to pat a shaggy dog with no name or history, circulating like she thinks she's this morning's chosen canine, perhaps even this dog park's mayor for the day. For an encore, this shirt might sit on a bench and luxuriate under blue sky feeling almost like a native or at least a welcome guest. And this shirt might make big plans to head slowly home and eat a turkey sandwich. Here's another one on clothes. What I'm wearing. The catwalk, my hallway, features mainly styles built for comfort and ease, with limited appeal for influencers or anyone aspiring to even the lowest ranks of haute couture, or for that matter, anything baptized in anything French. I strut my sweats in colors that aspire to being overstated as understated, shades of gray and blue, and lately, the daring addition of forest green. I rate my duds at a 2 for style, because a 1 would just be sad, and I give myself a 6 for comfort, because on that scale, an 8 is a 10. You can see me coming, the dude who looks like he took style tips from a retired rector. No photos. This is a private event. Okay, this one's not about clothes. This is called God Starts Over. We could save the lilacs, wisteria, gardenias, some of the flowering trees. Heck, I guess maybe all the flowers, excepting skunkweed and that one I never knew by name that grows the corpse flower. I'd rule out allergens, but we only need to consider them if we keep the humans, which is, of course, highly in doubt. But pollinators, they are in. Too bad about the stingers. But as stated, only a problem if I keep the people. Mountains high, valleys wide, cloudy skies, midnight rain. I'd dial back on the tsunamis. Most of the animal kingdom, though I never did see the need for gators. As for humans, I'll think it over while I'm tinkering with all the rest. Except the dinosaurs, they'll still be extinct. Okay, a little closer to home. Too late. News reaches us sooner than we might wish. That nephew we like is having an affair and getting a divorce. Too late to tell him our secret, the magic clock that sits on the mantel like it has earned its place, the nice-looking, boxy wooden job with a little bit of something like crown molding, now stopped for 40 years, only telling the right time twice a day, focused on keeping its own counsel and enjoying its good fortune to be cherished for what it is, though it is only a useless, broken clock minding its own business the way we mostly mind ours. Too bad, now it's just our secret. Okay, recycling. We talk about the pizza box with the greasy wrapper somebody tossed into our bin, and how it seems the cans left out for public trash seem always hopeless, as if filled by deranged delinquents bent on leaving public evidence of their condition, insisting they do not now and will not ever give a shit. But still we keep what order we can, holding on to hope, by sorting it into items to compost or recycle or simply bury in a dump somewhere way downwind and far into some distant pile we'll hide from sight. Okay, another one, not about clothes. Every night, I find myself in the same place, in the dark, hiding from the moon and stars, really, though the moon leaves traces in the shadows and the silence. I'll never fly, I guess, except in dreams, but in the dead of night, I could be floating through the universe, weightless and free. Welcome nighttime. Welcome darkness. Weightless, free. Okay, this is called Downtown. There are two of them a few stories up, cleaning a window with white towels that swirl almost like ghosts, as if smoothing the very atmosphere, if not cleaning their window to God, then at least burnishing their window on the world, seeking to let it shine. Do they see me on the street, pausing to let them clean? All right, another one about aging. So this is called Lowering the Bar. On a scale of the comatose, I am an overachiever, blinking my eyes, responding to commands, licking peanut butter off of a knife, even signing my name legibly when so inclined. I am official. And for independent living, I sail through the day with colors flying, though pausing for a power nap mid-afternoon. As for wisdom and those hoped for larger truths, I won't be stepping to the head of the class. What is wisdom, anyway? To keep opening my door to the world, I guess, as long as I can. Okay. Oh, here we go. This is a little nasty poem. The list. I too keep a little list of those who should be dressed in prison orange and those who could benefit a bit from swift decapitation. My Lord High Executioner would be merciless but swift. Mostly my list serves to remind me even those former friends, oops, my time's up, even those former friends who seem like fiends are pikers when it comes to grift or a life of crime. As for those names on my list, Jesus loves them, the preachers all say, so I don't have to. Okay, that's it. Thanks. That was fun.
All right, Will, thank you.